I mean, I've dealt with contracts of actors who are non-smokers who will say that they don't want anybody to smoke within a certain distance around them.
There's always some really interesting perks and travel provision requirements, right?
Obviously, their hair and makeup person will be required to be on set. That only one person that they trust. But you'd have to fly them all over the place.
Yeah, and I think there's two ways to look at basically what Sam is talking about is there's clauses in performer agreements, especially, that provide for travel, hotel, accommodations, per diems, but all sorts of other things, right? Like hair, makeup, and wardrobe. They're going to bring their hairstylist or makeup artist along. And there's two ways to look at that, right? One, from the producer side, sometimes they're small items, like a per diem of $65 per day. I think most producers are able to swallow that cost. But a lot of the things add up, right? The difference between first-class hotel accommodations and a 4-star could be very different. The difference between first class and an Airbnb could be very different. Coach versus first-class airlines. These things add up really, really quickly, especially when you have
the other
actors.
one is that there's something called a favored nations clause.
Exactly. Yeah.
So let's say you've got 3 main actors in your film, and one of them you obviously want to accommodate, and whatever perk he or she may want, you're ready to give, right? Okay. But all of a sudden, if you give in to all of those for the main actor or so forth, and the others want favored nations, it means that they have to get the same perks, which now you've multiplied all, by 3 or 4 or whatever the number is of your key cast. And it makes it also almost sometimes impossible, because you can't necessarily give one top and each one has a top or something. So we've had issues where that favored nations clause has created major problems.
Exactly. And as a producer, you need to be extremely cognizant of it. I do think that there is a flip side, though. And if you speak to talent reps, whether attorneys in LA or agents, they'll say something which I also empathize with as well, which is, if you're an actor or a director or any kind of personnel contributing to a film, especially when you're shooting far away from home, and I'm not talking about you're shooting in the San Fernando Valley and you live on the west side of LA. I'm talking about across the continent in Europe. You're away from your family. These things do matter to these people, right? And they are far away from home, far away from their family. So they do want to make sure for sometimes months, right? Yeah. So they do want to make sure that they're comfortable so they could bring their A game. And I think it's important also that we remain cognizant of that. There is kind of the balance.